Zat Hashem, יהי רצון ללימוד שבלרפואת כל החולים ובתוכם טניה בת הוד המרגלית, יוסף יאיר בן אביב וחווה, הרב סיוון בן סימה, בתוך כל שאר חולי ישראל. Bezat Hashem, in Eretz Israel, we're entering into Parshat Kedoshim, and at the same time we're also entering into the what's could be called the biggest weeks of the present story of Am Yisrael, going with Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaAtzmaut. And I'm trying to find a way to connect the Parsha and the time that we're in. So one thing in the Parsha, it's a very, very famous Ramban. In the Parsha, the Torah links between the sins of people and the ability to stay in the lands. And the Ramban has a famous Ramban when he looks at this, and he says, what's the relationship between what people are doing and the ability to be in the land? Like, the land is the land, the people are the people. And he comes up with a very, very long perush, which he establishes a concept that has been spoken about a lot and written about a lot. And it's the concept called Atzivilach Siyunim. And basically, the Ramban there says a very drastic statement, and he says that what the Torah is trying to teach us there is that really the mitzvot are accomplished only in the land, and therefore any mitzvot that we do outside the land of Israel are only preparation for when we come back to the land and do the mitzvot. So it's a very, very drastic sentence, and there's a lot to speak about and analyze and figure out and question. What is the Ramban teaching? Why is he saying what's he saying? How can we deal with this idea that the Ramban is teaching that really the mitzvot can only be done in the land of Israel? So there are a lot of different areas that we need to develop within this perush. But at the end of the day, there's a specific point that I want to try and analyze from the Ramban. The Ramban is teaching that there's a different way of looking at mitzvot. And there's the action of the mitzvah, and there's the atmosphere of the mitzvah. And says the Ramban again that the action of the mitzvah needs to be done in Eretz Israel, and the atmosphere of the mitzvah needs to be consistent throughout history, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. And so on both these levels, I want to try and understand, what is the Ramban teaching? So the Ramban is teaching that where you do a mitzvah can redefine the mitzvah, which means that if a mitzvah can be done anywhere, then it's an individual experience. If mitzvot are accomplished wherever you are, then you are the definition of the mitzvah. And what the Ramban, I think, wants to teach on a conceptual level is that mitzvot are much more than an individual. True, they're done by an individual, and they're acted by an individual, and an individual is the one who's going to decide if to do or not to do a mitzvah, but the effect needs to be aware and recognize that it's not affecting only you. A mitzvah you do affects the person next to you, and it affects the future, and it enables the past to become part of history. And so every action you do done in the land, it makes you rethink what a mitzvah is about. And the mitzvah is something that, although is being done by you, is doing so much more than that. And so I think that that's on the action level. On the action level, the Ramban wants to teach an idea that we have to stray away from the danger of thinking that actions that are done by me are solely for me. Actions done by me are the gateway into many other things, including affecting my family, affecting my community, affecting my history, connecting to my past, connecting to my future. So really, mitzvot are a gateway, and therefore when they're done in Eretz Israel, it's much more clear that that's what the mitzvah is. But says the Ramban, I think more than that the atmosphere of the mitzvah is something that can never be abandoned. And that's not Sivilach Tziyunim. The Ramban is saying no matter where you are, even if the action of the mitzvah is preferable, or according to the Ramban only done in a land, the atmosphere of the mitzvah is something that cannot be minimized. And what the Ramban wants to teach us is that the atmosphere of the mitzvah is really a core of what the mitzvah is. And I think what the Ramban wants to teach us is that the atmosphere is something that affects how we do what we do. So someone can daven alone by themselves in a room, and they can daven inside a shul. It's the same sitter and it's the same words, but the atmosphere that you're in is something that makes you aware that the way you're going to do the mitzvah is different. Because if you're in a minyan and the minyan needs you, so you're going to rush through your Shmona Esrei so that you can be helpful. Zat Hashem, יהי רצון ללימוד שבלרפואת כל החולים ובתוכם טניה בת הוד המרגלית, יוסף יאיר בן אבי וחווה, הרב סיוון בן סימה, בתוך כל שאר חולי ישראל.